IGA supermarkets across our region say it's time.
It's time.
Time to shop locally at IGA.
Shop where you help support local manufacturers like Paul's, Hazeldene's, Tip Top.
Love the deli.
Shop knowing that when you sit down to dinner, lunch, a snack, you're keeping your dollar local.
Shop where your local supermarket supports your community.
It's our price match. Fresh produce. Market days.
Huge meat sales.
It's time.
It's time to shop locally at IGA.
Across central Victoria, this is Win News.
Tonight, Central Victorian ratepayers are fed up over worsening roads. Winemakers grapple with one of their wettest seasons to date. And stepping back in time to learn the lost arts of the past. Good evening, I'm Melissa Russell. Also making news tonight, top tasty tips from a master chocolatier. Central Victorians are growing frustrated by deteriorating roads, with some council areas recording ratepayer satisfaction levels below 40%. Melburnians were on average 10% more satisfied, with fears the regions have been left behind.
Regional Victorians are having a rough time out on our roads.
Most regional councils, not just here in Victoria but across Australia, are growing. Now with that comes extra cars on our roads and extra services that need to be maintained, and it's just too hard for councils in regional areas to keep up.
The problem, which existed well before the COVID-induced mass migration of tree changes, is being exacerbated. New data shows ratepayers in the regions are on average 10% less satisfied with the condition of local roads than metro drivers. But regional councils say they carry an extra burden than smaller-sized city councils.
There are hundreds and into the thousands of kilometres of roads that the country councils have to look after, and often with smaller rate bases too. So we don't have the massive pool of cash that comes in through parking revenue.
Among those surveyed, Golden Plains, Southern Grampians and South Gippsland drivers had a satisfaction percentage of just 39, 42 and 43 respectively, the lowest in the state. Macedon Ranges, Baw Baw, Hepburn and Campaspe Shires also recorded percentages under 50. Ratepayers Victoria says state and federal governments need to be doing more.
Local councils can be blamed for many shortcomings. Local roads is not one of them. Councils are mostly free from blame in this regard.
Regional Roads Victoria has recently said more than 1,400 kilometres of roads are being repaired as part of its regional maintenance blitz. Sam Mills, Win News.
Despite another predicted high yield, the recent downpouring is proving challenging for wine growers across central Victoria. Bendigo's Balgownie Estates harvest has been delayed by almost a month as grape growers continue to grapple with China's tariffs.
Regional Victorian winemakers are grappling with one of their wettest seasons to date.
We got 40 mil in an hour and a quarter last night. We had a very, very large black cloud just sit over the top of Balgownie and pour down.
Grape growers say large amounts of rain dilutes the sugars and flavours in the fruit, pushing the ripening process back. Winemaker Tony Winspear used to begin harvest in March, but over the last decade he's started picking in January 5 times out of 10.
So climate change has brought ripening well forward, and then we have years like this year where we have rain, which pushes your harvest back.
Despite the delay, growers say it will be another bumper crop.
We've had some nice cool weather, really had no heat spikes, so therefore the grapes are in really good condition.
But China's tariffs on Australian wine imports continue to hurt.
There's pressure on small growers in particular. Large companies are more easily able to cope with it, but yeah, it's going to be a difficult 12 months for the industry.
They're hoping ties with other nations can be strengthened and are encouraging people to buy local.
Everyone's really supported by local, and it is just so important for us small producers.
Grace Aiken, Win News.
Tens of thousands of people are tipped to make their way to the Bendigo racecourse for the return of the Lost Trades Fair. With more than 150 artisans from across Australia, the two-day event celebrates ancient crafts and past trades.
From gunpowder to watercolours, artist Sarah Wallace-Smith integrates various materials into her art.
Living on a farm, we're north of Bendigo, so quite often you just have to use what you've got.
She's one of more than 150 artisans who will be showcasing their crafts this weekend at the Lost Trades Fair. Ready to share knowledge and skills, traditional makers will arrive in Bendigo from across Australia.
Oh, there's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it in Australia.
Celebrating rare trades, arts and heritage crafts, the Lost Trades Fair will be back at the Bendigo Racecourse for the first time since 2020. Featuring a plethora of trades, including toolmaking and goldsmiths, organisers say there's something for everyone.
The fair showcases artisans from across all trades, so it's not just metal, it's not just stone and clay or leather or wood, it's across decorative arts and fine arts.
The event also provides an opportunity for people to connect with other like-minded creatives. More than 150,000 people have attended the Lost Trades Fair since it began 8 years ago. Organisers hope this weekend more people will feel inspired to support Australian artisans.
And I think more than ever today, that's hugely important.
Grace Aiken, Win News.
A horsebreaker who captures and trains brumbies in Victoria's high country has been forced to stop amid low numbers after culling operations. But researchers say eradication in national parks is the best option for the environment.
Following culling operations, Lewis Benedetti's noticed an increase in other feral animals he says feeds off brumby carcasses.
I've been riding up in there most of my life, and within the last 2 years, the pigs have started to come over the New South Wales border.
Others say there's a problem with culling programs for all feral animals, like deer.
So we're actually creating another problem by feeding wild dogs with the deer situation. So it just all compounds. In many ways, it's quite a mess up there.
Lewis, who captures and trains young brumbies, says population numbers are low.
Hours away from civilisation and you won't see a horse.
He stopped capturing the brumbies out of fear they'll disappear and says rehoming techniques should be considered.
You can quite easily wipe out a population of horses by taking the young stock out because the older horses don't live forever.
But researchers say eradication in national parks is the best option for waterways and the environment.
You can't have 40 to 50 million years of evolution in isolation, everything else, and then suddenly put a large animal up to 400 kilo hard-hoofed animal in very soft ground.
Parks Victoria says there are large numbers of feral horses in the alpine area and the damage they cause is evident, and the most humane feral horse management techniques have been selected. Jack Morgan, Win News.
Aged care providers are on tenterhooks as a new coronavirus subvariant threatens to disrupt daily operations. The sector's on the mend, welcoming back visitors and staff, but there are fears it'll be short-lived if restrictions return.
A month ago, aged care was in crisis.
We had a dreadful time in December, January and February, but March has been much better for the aged care sector with so many cases diminishing.
Homes were grappling with severe staff shortages, calling in the ADF for backup.
They brought such a breath of fresh air. That extra assistance, that extra hands-on assistance has been great.
Workers and visitors have finally returned. A month ago, new visitation guidelines were rolled out across the country to bring some sense of normality to the chaos.
It's such a great relief. It's been a really terrible 2 years, and we pray and hope that this will be over soon.
But it may not be the end of troubles for the sector just yet. The new subvariant threatening to increase case numbers in the coming weeks.
Any change to a variant or any change to an infection is of concern.
People are on tenterhooks, very worried about keeping older people safe.
Also worried that restrictions on visitors may tighten again if case numbers do rise.
Look, we're hoping that we won't. It's so important for people to see their loved ones, to have visitors, friends and family come and see them when we know that's critical for their mental health and also just their general well-being.
In a statement, the Minister for Aged Care Services said the government welcomed new advice that suggested visitors should not be restricted during an outbreak and that each resident should have access to one essential visitor at all times, adding the new guidance allows staff to work if they've been exposed to COVID and test negative. But the sector is still calling for more to be done.
The aged care sector has been chronically underfunded and understaffed for a long time.
And that's something I know that we're focused on, and certainly we're asking the government to focus on as well.
Cass Rogan, Win News.
The federal courts ruled the Environment Minister has no duty of care to protect kids from climate change, overturning a decision. It comes amid fears a multi-million-dollar package for environmental reform will pare back protections.
Splashing the cash to remove lengthy development roadblocks.
Those delays add significantly to cost, and from my perspective as Environment Minister, they do nothing for the environment.
Our members have the ability to invest and not invest and then wait on the sidelines for 5 years.
Susan Lee revealing a major reforms package in Mackay, firmly in mining territory where the Coalition's George Christensen will soon exit as MP. It's designed to ditch duplications between the state and Commonwealth approvals to slash delays.
Now, those delays weren't the responsibility always of departmental officials. They were the nature of the system itself.
And put 10 new regional plans in the works, along with $10 million to progress a single-touch approvals process, giving states and territories more decision-making power.
Because when we do that well, we know also that we add to ecologically sustainable development.
No one is taking shortcuts around what those environmental needs are and how they are protected.
The Shadow Minister says the announcement's little more than an admission prior funding cuts have hurt industry, while others worry it streamlines the approvals process at the expense of protections.
Extinction crisis has gotten worse and worse. We've seen land clearing rates skyrocket in the time that this minister's been in office. So actions speak an awful lot louder than words. It's very hard to have any confidence in what's been announced today.
The Australian Koala Foundation, still waiting on a protection plan from the department a decade on, is shocked by the move, pointing to 2011 Senate inquiry findings that states weren't equipped to conserve the species in severe decline.
Because there's too close a relationship between local councils and often developers, between the state government and big industry.
Sophie Lester, Win News.
Coming up next on Win News, Central Victoria, a grand plan for Beaufort's Vegemite Museum to spread its wings, and top tasty tips from a master chocolatier. Eagle Hawk's 50th Dahlia and Arts Festival's returning this weekend. The annual Dahlia Spectacular Championships will be held on Saturday at the Eagle Hawk Senior Citizens Rooms, followed by a Sunday Family Day at Canterbury Park. The free event will feature an abundance of activities and exhibitions, including a treasure hunt, carnival rides, storytelling, painting and a petting zoo. One of our national icons may soon have an everlasting display in Western Victoria. Residents of Beaufort have created a pop-up museum to honour Vegemite and are hopeful for funding to make it a permanent tourist attraction for the town.
Hidden in the back of an old shed in Beaufort's, a shrine to one of our nation's most treasured icons. The Vegemite Museum paying tribute to the household staple and the man who invented it, Cyril Callister.
He grew up here, he went to school here, and he's the man that invented Vegemite, you know, one of our most significant products, if not the most well-known product that comes out of Australia.
To the surprise of many, Vegemite wasn't an instant hit when it first hit the market 99 years ago. It was deemed a dud, but the boy from Beaufort didn't give up.
They really had to persevere with it, and I think that's the testament to the man he was. He just believed in it, he believed in the vitamin content, and he just persevered and gave it a red-hot Aussie go.
The museum's in its early stages and only pops up every fourth weekend, but it's already welcoming tourists from across the state.
They came from everywhere and they brought things with them. So like gifts, the Vegemite memorabilia that they had in their family that they want to contribute towards the museum. And I think there's going to be more and more of that happens.
Those behind it are pushing to make it a permanent museum. It's gained the backing of the local MP who says he'll work hard to get it off the ground.
Something like this would be a great tourist
straw cut. When everyone knows Vegemite came from Beaufort, they'll want to come here to see the origins, hear about the story, and I think buy merchandise and Vegemite itself.
Sam Mills, Win News.
Regional up-and-coming chefs have been given a taste of creating some of the world's best chocolate. In a masterclass run by a multi-award-winning French chocolatier, apprentices learnt the art of hand-making the delicious dessert just in time for Easter.
Easter's just a month away and Albury's up-and-coming chefs are getting a head start. Today, 12 apprentices at TAFE New South Wales feasted their eyes on some delicious creations under the watchful gaze of a world-renowned chocolatier.
Chocolate is the subject of the day. Chocolate is a skill that people love learning, however don't necessarily have the opportunity to learn in their workplaces.
Students are completing a Certificate 3 in commercial cookery or baking trades. All are working at local restaurants, cafes and bakeries. The French chefs travelling around the region with a mission to inspire future generations.
I've been able to share this knowledge that I have learned overseas and in Australia to service our young people here, so that's great, and I'm very privileged.
It's hoped the students will utilise these new chocolate making skills in both local businesses and around the world.
They're really enjoying having his skills here today, and it's a wonderful attribute of that to be able to bring those skills to the Albury region.
I want to travel to build upon my skills and hopefully return and improve upon the industry we have grown here in Albury.
Students will undertake another masterclass next month in bread making. Inga Nielsen, Win News.
The Australian Electoral Commission stepping up its fight against misinformation before we go to the polls, working closely with Meta to quash conspiracy theories and other mistruths across its platform. Facebook's parent company will have dedicated staff monitoring threats towards MPs and candidates. It follows the federal police briefing Senate estimates on a significant spike in abuse as anti-mandate protest activity increases. Anyone posting campaign material will also need to prove they're in Australia. They've been at the centre of the vaccine rollout, remaining open as the nation navigated the pandemic, and now regional Victorians are being encouraged to acknowledge the efforts of their local pharmacists. This Thursday has been declared Thank Your Pharmacist Day in a bid to raise awareness of the work of the sector. The Pharmaceutical Society of Australia also encouraging the country's politicians to show their support, with calls to ensure pharmacists are receiving the same pay as other immunisers. Sport is up next with Tanya, Dendrinos and Tanya. It's been a tough battle for round 16 of the Bendigo Cricket Association.
It certainly has, Mel. We'll take a look at the premiership contenders after the break, plus the need to recruit more footy umpires. The contenders vying for the BDCA premiership are being whittled down. Strathfield say got the better of Bendigo to secure second place and the double chance, while Eagle Hawk more than doubled White Hill's run tally to progress to the semis. Strathdow Maristians also had an impressive 9-wicket win over Bendigo United, but the Redbacks still have another shot at the premiership. Country footy leagues are facing a severe shortage of umpires with local seasons less than a month away. Some leagues are calling on senior players to put their hand up and officiate at underage levels. Otherwise, existing umpires may need to control up to 4 matches a weekend. The AFL has previously said there's a shortage of around 6,000 field, goal and boundary umpires across the country. There's also a significant push for more female umpires who make up just 11% of the total pool. With a place in the Sheffield Shield final on offer, Victoria and Tasmania are locked in a tense battle at Junction Oval. Young Bushrangers spinner Todd Murphy's starring for the home side, but the experience of the Tigers' middle order has given them the upper hand.
As the captains looked down at a grassy junction oval wicket in St Kilda, Matthew Wade won the toss and elected to bat first. Ben Menenti came into the Tigers 11 to make his Sheffield Shield debut as both teams decided the pitch would favour spin. The Bushrangers and the Tigers selecting 2 off-spinners each. Openers Caleb Jewell and Tim Ward got off to a solid start, notching up 53 for the first wicket before the former was stumped off the bowling of Todd Murphy.
Oh, Jewell's out, stumped. Brilliant bit of work from Harper, but better bowling there from Murphy, and he just couldn't help himself, Jewell.
Murphy had 2 in quick succession when Tim Ward decided to leave an arm ball 2 overs later. From there, the experienced pair of Wade and Ben McDermott set about rebuilding, each bringing up half-centuries.
Wade drives straight. Does he beat mid-off? He does. And he picks up a boundary. Cracked that all the way along the carpet. And it beat the diving Pattinson. Long way down for Big Jim. And it also brings up Matthew Wade's half-century.
Sutherland back into the attack. He's also going to bowl around the wicket. It's pulled away through mid-wicket, and he has reached the boundary and also reached half a century.
Wade fell in the 71st over for 61, Murphy claiming his 3rd scalp of the day. A win could see the Tigers or Bushrangers secure 2nd position on the ladder with only 1 more game before the final. Bailey Kenzie, Win News.
And that is Tuesday's Sport, Mel.
Thanks so much, Tanya. We'll see you again tomorrow. Stay with us. Adam Straney's up after the break with all your weather details.
It's the place with more in store. The Village has it all. Get the things that you want, anything that you need. Get it here at Strath Village. You get it all together.
Hey, welcome back. Adam Straney with you. Partly cloudy right across the region with overnight showers in the southern parts lingering right throughout the day. Colin has taken this amazing sunset at the Mallee from his place. Oh, it's a beaut sunset from Mystic Park. Good on you, mate. Really appreciate it. This is a beautiful photo, but I'm thirsty for more. Email me, weather@wintv.com.au. I just want it all. A total mixed bag across the place today. Castlemaine had early morning low of around about 4 degrees, warmer than the March minimum average. Maryborough picked up around about 4 mils in the rain gauge overnight, and there was a little bit of drizzle for Bendigo too. Now, Hopetoun, that cracked the 30s at around 3 o'clock, maxing out about 5 degrees warmer than the forecast temp. You can see it 31 degrees. Balranald maxed out quickly in the day, just after lunchtime. Well, Majura was strongest winds about the region, 44 kilometres per hour. Oh, thunderstorms are still possible across the region this evening, so look out and take care. On our charts, there is a high that's established over the southern Tasman, while a broad low pressure trough to the west moves eastwards towards Victoria. Now, as we look ahead, that cold front crossing the Bight will link with the trough early on Thursday morning, as another high follows around about on Friday. So to the forecast for the central Victoria, cloudy with medium chance of showers and thunderstorms from early in the morning. Kyneton to tops of 21 degrees, while Bendigo around about 25, Echuca 25 as well. Kerrang to around about 27 degrees with a little bit of cloud coverage for tomorrow. Let's check out Bendigo though. Cloud developing, a low of 16, getting up to around 25. For the Big Smoke in Melbourne, humid with a couple of showers expected, 25 degrees as well. And for the next few days, well, Thursday, a little bit humid, partly cloudy with medium chance of showers and thunderstorms. Friday is looking humid, a little bit of cloud about too with some fresh winds. And then on Saturday, fine, mostly sunny. Look at those beautiful temps. Well, that's all from me. You have a great night, Mel.
Thanks, Adam, and thanks for your company this Tuesday, March 15. Join us again tomorrow night from 5:30. Good night.